Well, we done. I feel like I'm on a spaceship with this thing on. It's really funny, I never use it. Well, Devendra
Hi.
Banhart,
Ciao, come
welcome
stai?
to Milano.
Grazie mille.
How are you?
Oh, I don't know, you tell me.
You are something in between gray and light blue.
Oh, that's good. I am something in between, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm not good, I'm not bad. I'm just
Yeah.
something in between at all times. I don't know, should I look at you or look at everyone? I guess maybe a little bit of both. Thanks everyone for coming to this very normal, natural thing. We do this all the time.
Of course.
How are you?
I'm good.
You were earlier telling me about some new energy that you
Yeah.
received this morning.
Yeah, you know when you wake up in the morning and you just receive a boost of very good energy and good news. So you wake up in the morning and you're like, if this day starts like this, it cannot be a bad day.
Wow, geez.
So that's how I feel.
I feel like as the interview goes on, maybe you can give us little bits of information as to what it was that you received.
Maybe.
Well, you know, I understand we don't want to pry, but I think we're all curious as to what was this information that gave you this much needed boost. Also, I can talk a little louder so you don't have to have the mic so hot because it's going to feed back. And then also with your mic, maybe we could move it a little to the side or something could be adjusted because it's getting a lot of booms and pops. Yeah.
Yeah. How's it better? Better. I think
That
it's
seems better, and I'll just be a little bit more into the mic if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm neither good or bad, and you're amazing, and you were lifted up by some wonderful new news. So wonderful. That's great. Can't wait to hear what it is, but we don't want to pry. But slowly you can unravel what this mysterious magic news is.
It will be like you have to guess during the interview what happened this morning,
yes.
and then at the end, if you guess the right thing,
Oh, wow.
you'll have a prize.
Okay.
We don't know what it is yet, but you will. Well, anyway.
I know what it would be for me.
Yeah? What would it be?
It would be, I'd get a knock on the door, boom, boom, and I'd look, and there's no one there, and then I look down, and there's a big bottle of fermented horse milk.
Horse milk?
I long for fermented horse milk. I think the interview could be over now. I think that's really what I came here to say.
That's not as much as it can go.
But it's true. I dream about it. I look at maps of Mongolia. Oh, I know they drink fermented horse milk there. Anyways, is that it? Was it fermented? Was it hermetic horse milk?
Well, I don't know where I can find it, but I'll do my best.
But that wasn't the thing.
But maybe
that was my first guess.
Maybe no.
That was what it was for me, and maybe that's what happened with you.
I thought that was the prize you wanted to have.
It is. It is. But just maybe there's a coincidence, and that's the good news you received.
No, that's not it.
Okay, I'll keep trying.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we'll do questions throughout the interview. Please, if you have any guesses as to what the good news that they received is that gave them this much-needed boost of sunshine, you win.
I wanted to ask you, starting this interview with, you've been touring.
Yes.
You released your new album, Flying Wig, on September 22nd. How is it to be back on tour with this newborn creature of yours?
Well, we're on tour. We're playing tonight here in Milan. We're playing these new songs. But it doesn't really feel like I'm on tour playing new songs. It's not like, wow, I'm on tour playing new songs, which is what I thought it would be. And we worked really hard on the record. And I had this projection, oh wow, playing new songs. This tour is about for me at least, in the band, what it feels like to be playing music during a war. That's it. There's a war going on right now.
Yeah.
And we're playing music. That's what this tour is completely about for us. It's completely overshadowed in the new songs, and it should, rightly so. Personally, I want to be home, at home, like in a cave, and like praying and crying. That's what I personally want to be doing.
Yeah. Does it feel like a paradox to be on stage?
Of course, absolutely. But as much as I personally want to be home, because I'm scared, because I'm terrified, because I'm horrified. I'm reading the news every day. I know that everyone coming to these shows is also feeling the same way.
Yeah.
I know the band is feeling that way. And so we get to do something that we all subconsciously long for when we go to a show, which is, it's a human, it's a perpetual human longing. And that's for community, ritual, and collective weeping, which leads to healing. So I'd say healing, but really at this moment it's weeping. Because where else do you collectively weep? At a funeral, maybe at a movie, but you're not together. It's dark, no one can see you crying, you actually try to hide it. But maybe a show is a place where that can happen. So that makes it a very particular type of thing. There's a sacredness to it. So you come to a show secretly, subconsciously maybe, wanting to weep or to let it loose. Let it loose as its own like blissful, joyful version of weeping. Because we're stepping out of the way. It's a challenge. My God, you go to a show and you're sitting down and you, oh fuck, I want to dance. This is embarrassing. People are going to see me. Da, da, da. Fortunately, I'm a terrible dancer, so I think I make it easy for people because this is how I dance. It's so bad that I feel like maybe it encourages people to go, you know what, I can dance too. I can definitely dance better than him. So I feel like that experience where we get out of the way and let loose is similar to when we weep, and we weep collectively. That's a particular type of experience. So we're focused on that being a big part of what this tour is about. Touching a deep pain that we have and we know that the audience has, because we can certainly feel it. So that's kind of what this tour is about, because my other options are like to post about it, which I totally respect and I totally understand. My personal thing is I feel like I'm just adding to a lot of noise. And so the way that I'm dealing with it or processing it and analyzing it is with the band. We talk about it constantly. And then with people pre the gig or after the show. So that's what this tour is about. Yeah.
And have you noticed, because like according to my experience and how I feel about music, it's like a tool to get closer to these kind of topics that are happening right now. And it's also a way to somehow connect all together and raise the vibration together by collectively being sad about something or feeling deeply something that's happening. Do you feel like it's happening in your tour?
What you just expressed is, I feel that, and the world calls me so naive for feeling that.
Mm. Why do you think?
Because it's an experiential thing. So it takes experiencing the sacredness of music and of being in that situation where something is being created.
Yeah.
An exchange of energy is occurring. You're participating as well. So it takes that experience in order for that not to be super naive and cheesy. But it really, at the heart of what you're saying is, the world doesn't change, we do.
Yeah.
It's always been this way. I'm not just talking about the war. I mean, this is really like Vedically, this is the Kali Yuga. This is the darkest of the times. But really, it's like, change yourself and you change the world. And music is an opportunity to start building that bridge towards a different perspective, different way of living. And maybe that's what I mean by healing. But healing isn't fun. Healing isn't fun. Getting stabbed with a knife isn't fun, metaphorically. But then, of course, Carl Jung said, God enters through the wound, So there's some hope there.
Yeah. I think music can do so much. Like if I think about myself in the darkest times of my life until now, just listening to a song that was exactly expressing what I was feeling or that gave me the hope that I didn't have at the time was just so fundamentally important to me. And I think I remember being at concerts when I wasn't feeling good about something that was happening, and that concert was just the cuddle that I needed, or the reassurance of of it being an experience that was close to me at the time. So I think what you just said, it's very dear to me, and it's also very important.
Yes. Me too.
So thank you for saying that. And about this topic of like transformation and transforming wounds into something to be grateful for, and trying to really go through that darkness and the darkness of what's happening within you and around you. I found it so much in your album. When they asked me if there was like, I had an idea about the title for this interview, I had none. And so I started doing some research about you. Not that I didn't know about you, because I knew already who you were, and I listened to your music in the past. But because I really wanted to find that one seed that was really worth being talked about. And so I started digging deeper and deeper. But I ended up finding so many possible seeds, so many possible titles, because honestly, you do so many things, and you're such an eclectic artist. And yet I needed just one title. And so I thought at some point, maybe it's interesting if I start at the end of this red thread. And I started listening to your album very carefully, and I went through all the lyrics. And when I came across the sentence, "But the grass is always green," within the song Charger, because you're saying everything's burning down, but the grass is always green, I knew that was it. And the more I was getting deeper into your work, the more I realized that there was this recurring theme of dualities, opposites, darkness that turns into something to be grateful for. Is it just my projection, or in the album there's actually this duality, this need and push for an inner transformation?
This is the nicest version of when you play a show, play a full show, and you do one cover, and the show's over, and they go, "Yeah, the show's okay, but that one song, I like that song." You go, "Thanks, I didn't write that song. I didn't write that line." But this is the best version of that, because Kate LeBon, who produced the record, and if you don't know the music of Kate LeBon, it's magnifique, the best. Oh, mi piace molto, Kate LeBon, so good. Okay, I'll make a call. Don't you worry, I got it. This whole record is really kind of anchored and was inspired by a poem that has a lot to do with what you're saying about hope, in a way, a type of hope. We have to maybe define hope, but this type of hope is exemplified in a poem by Kobayashi Issa, Japanese poet. The poem is, "This dewdrop world is a dewdrop world, and yet. It's the whole poem. And so I'd read this poem many times. It's a famous poem. I'm sure everyone here knows it. You see it in anthologies of Buddhist poetry and anthologies of Japanese poetry. Anyways, I saw it again during the pandemic, and I just, holy shit, this says everything I've been feeling. So the whole record is anchored at some point to that poem. And this song, Charger, I didn't have that second line, the grass is always, I had the first line, everything's burning down. That's the line, everything's burning down. But what's the next line? Where's the hope? There's no hope when everything's burning down. I need the hope. And Kate was working on something. She didn't know that I was thinking about this, and she just says, while I'm thinking this, she goes, I've always had this line, the grass is always green. And I jumped up, freaking out, wow. I mean, for me, my version of that is this. Because like when you see a movie and people get, maybe it happened to you, you get good news, and they roll the window down, they go, yeah, and they scream.
Yeah.
That's just, I tried that one time in my life, and I hated it, it hurt. It's just so not me. It's for me, the way it looks like this, it's like this, wow, cool. But I mean it. It's not that I'm a chill person. It's just I always thought that was funny. I was always envious of the people in the movie that scream, yeah. It hurt my throat. No. Anyways, my version was this. Wow. Kate, can I please take that lyric? It's the perfect line. The grass is always green. Actually, even I can't even take credit for everything's burning down, because, you know, and the Buddha said that. Everything is burning. And then the rest of the line is with envy, with anger, with craving, with jealousy, with delusion. And that's what we're burning with. If I was fucked me up. Like, you know, even this concept of an enemy, like, you know, like if I, having an, you know, our real true enemies are our own anger, our own delusion, our own ignorance. Those are our real enemies, you know. So anybody else that's cruel to us is only just using us as a mirror, or trying to process their own pain, and they have no idea how to do it. So they're just being cruel to you. It's done to them, they're going to do it to you any opportunity they can. Mm-hmm. The real enemy is this anger, is pain.
You know, my mom, when I was a kid, used to tell me when I was angry at someone or I didn't like someone, she always asked me, what is it that within the other person belongs to you that you haven't accepted or you don't like?
So beautiful.
And I used to get very angry at her because I just didn't like that person. You know, I was a kid. I just wanted my mom to be like, yeah, she's such a bad person to you, you know. But I started thinking differently since she told me that. And I started looking at the people that I didn't like, parts of their personality that I really did not like, and they were actually part of myself that I wasn't accepting or like.
That's huge. Like. You have a wonderful mom. Can we give it up for your mom?
She's in the audience.
What? Here. She's here? Amazing.
Yeah.
Good mom. You're a good mom. Amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. You know, that's incredible. Find yourself in the other person. Mm-hmm. Find yourself in the other person. And then even more challenging is wish them well. What a challenge.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, love the unlovable, forgive the unforgivable. These are huge challenges. Huge challenges.
And opportunities.
It sounds so easy, but try it. Yeah, think of somebody you really don't like and just imagine, I wish you no enemies. I wish you no danger. I wish you no mental anxiety. I wish that you pass all your time with a healthy body and a happy mind, thinking about this person you fucking hate.
Yeah,
it's something to do when you're waiting in line at the bathroom or something. Give it a try.
Yeah. And are these songs that are part of the album Flying Wig part of something that has been transformative to you? Are these songs like, have they been an opportunity for you to go through that darkness and turn it into something lightful?
Well, sure.
How's that?
Albums are almost like the record of that process. Mm-hmm. And you know, your job as an artist is to challenge yourself and follow the path that is the most fearsome. Pay attention to secrets that you're keeping, not from other people, but from yourself. The things that you really are even lying to yourself about. That's where it's really rich. That's where the good stuff is. So that whole process ends up becoming what an album is, I think. Depends on what kind of album. But typically, if you want to make an album, you're just trying to not lie to yourself. Mm-hmm. And then because people can tell. Yeah. People can tell when if the person is sincere. People can tell because they can because they're not trying to tell or not. They're just trying to identify with it. So if you can't see yourself in it at all, you know, it's a natural thing. That's why you're saying some songs at certain moments in your life have been so helpful. You know that they've been through that thing too. Yeah. And so there's that feeling of, you know, that's community. That's one of the cool little weird tricks about listening to a song that you love. Is being, you know, is finding community in it. So this record, I don't know. I feel like it's definitely every record I think made after the pandemic, even though the whole record is about let's do drugs and fuck, is about the pandemic. It's just impossible for it not to be. And so that's how it is. And I'm sure that every record after this war, hopefully if it does end, will be about that. These are like collective traumas.
Totally. How was the process of making this album on an emotional level? Or on the level you prefer?
Well, yeah, on the emotional level, that's the best level. We made it in a very beautiful country kind of California scene world.
Mm-hmm.
It looks so beautiful, like a beautiful day like this, but it's all just eucalyptus trees and pine trees and deer, and a little canyon in California. Idyllic, so pastoral, like the Shire. You imagine a little hobbit walking by, smoking a little pipe. But when the sun goes down, the forest is spooky. The forest is there's something. It's like just pure mystery, basically. And that idyllic, sunny kind of facade turns into something a lot more interesting, a lot more beguiling and seductive. Kind of calls you to it. Something entropic about the forest or the jungle calling you. I'm gonna eat you. I'm gonna eat you. I'm gonna eat you. So you can feel that, and I think we tried to express that in the record. Musically, we wanted it to feel like a desolate landscape. And in the distance, you might see a little figure, but it's really just like the shadow of an old dream, some liminal, crepuscular twilight space. And in order to make that happen, based on that image, we chose all the instruments, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not just it's not the nicest experience to want to give people. So I'm sorry about that.
And about processes, which is what I find personally the most interesting thing about making art, because we're all very excited about the result, but actually what's really, I think, very interesting and is more powerful is the process that leads you towards the result. And the process of making an album can be very beautiful and fun. I'm wondering, which part of the process, is there a part of the process that you find more emotionally, spiritually, energetically draining?
Wow. That really caught me off guard. I didn't know, I just thought we were going to talk general process, but is there a part of the process that's extra spiritually draining?
Yeah.
What an interesting question.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
It's my first interview ever, actually.
No way, really?
I never interviewed.
First interview ever. It's really, really good. Like, give a round of applause. Great job.
Thank you.
Wow. Now I regret not being inside this glass cube for this interview. We could have made it more artsy.
Why would you want to be in
And then I just sign the answers, and you have to interpret them.
No.
That would have been very avant-garde here in this museum.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about art when you say that. There's a painter, and I don't know their name, and I'm blanking on their name and where they're from, but they've been painting numbers, a sequence of numbers for about 40 years. That's it. He started 40 years ago and just paints 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and he's been doing it for 40 years. That's it. That's the work. Over time, it changes from dark to a lighter color. And the hues change. The gradient changes. The numbers don't change. He's just painting numbers. May have passed away. I should have done this research, but I didn't know you were going to ask me that question. I'm thinking about process, in the end, it makes this incredible, beautiful. It is about process. That the entire piece is process, and that process is their life, and that's what they've dedicated their life to. And I wonder if there's somebody who's maybe, and I do know this. I know someone who is now a sculptor, but they only just started sculpting, but they've been working on their sculpture for 20 years in their mind. In their mind, they've been planning what to sculpt. One of the ways that they've done that is by trying everything else. that still will inform the art that you end up making. If you're not sure what kind of work you want to make, try everything. That is part of the process to getting to the piece that you want to make. And process is everything, because there's no destination with art. The end piece will never be satisfying to the artist. No one has ever finished any piece of art
How frustrating it
and
is.
said, that's totally perfect. If they have, they don't need to paint ever again. It's all it'll never be perfect. There's absolutely no perfection in art. That's why we continue to do this thing. The way it's supposed to work is that in fact it gets more and more mysterious. You want to make it more and more. You want to make more art. That's how it's supposed to work. It's an expansive practice. So it's a mystery. I don't even understand it. And I don't understand it because I write songs, and I could write happier songs. I'd like to. I'm hoping to. I want to write some happy songs soon.
Right.
You know, it's just songs about this nice table.
You've
What
wrote
is this?
some pretty happy
Plexiglass?
songs in the past. No, it's
Plexiglass.
not. Plexiglass.
Oh, I want to make a record about plexiglass.
Good.
The joys of plexiglass. That sounds exciting to me, actually. So maybe I'll do that. But in the meantime, I'm writing songs that I think are depressing. With hope, but depressing. And in order for me to personally balance that out, without consciously doing it, my paintings have become so juvenile to balance out the kind of doom and gloom of my music at the moment. So I just sit at home, and I'm not kidding, this is not an exaggeration, and I'm sure any painter here can relate to this, 8 hours straight of painting a penis. And I'm like totally transfixed. And it's just a stupid penis. And it's the most important thing. And no call is more important than me having to paint this dumb dick that I'm painting until I start to laugh uncontrollably, until I start to feel until something gets given back to me. And that's pretty magical. It's pretty magical. I totally forgot the question though. Oh yeah, process. There you go.
And the difficult sides of the process.
Yeah, right, the difficulties of process.
But we don't have
I don't know if a
time.
process is that difficult. I mean, it takes discipline, and discipline isn't so fun. But once you're in, it's worth it. And cultivation isn't fun. So process is the same thing as cultivation.
But then what about when a creative process is over and that magic bubble, boom, it's done. And now comes the promotion side of what you just created.
Oh, that process, yeah. Oh, yeah.
How's that? Because you're forced, like you're in
That's
this...
not fun.
Yeah, that's not fun at all.
Because you're not doing
How do
an
you deal
interview.
with it?
I'm tired and I haven't eaten. And,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Totally.
This
I
isn't
know what you
really
mean.
me at my like top peak thing. It'd be nice if you tour and you just focus on playing, and that's it. That's my responsibility.
Yeah.
And then later, after the record is out, then you do press, because this is such a stupid thing. It's so insider
It
football
is, I
here.
guess.
But then, if I could do this after a really nice... I didn't sleep last night. I don't know why. It just happens on tour. You just can't sleep. I fell asleep at like 6 in the morning. This is so dumb, because I'm also not complaining, even though I am complaining. But I shouldn't be complaining. I'm really grateful as well. But so that part is maybe a bit of a challenge. You know, it requires some extra... you're pulling from some energy source that you don't really necessarily have too much of. That's a bit of a challenge, but it's okay. It's part of the gig, you know?
Yeah, totally.
And I think when we play, my responsibility is to be super present.
Yeah.
Like, I have to be totally present. I also have to be... I don't try to put a wall up, and then I'm just going to play the song, and you're not there. Like, I really am trying to get to know you. What's up? What's happening? And then also I love the people I play music with, and we're expressing that love for each other. All of that makes all the challenges of the post-album process, balances it out, basically.
Yeah. Isn't it very weird and like almost like paradox that after you just created something, you have to define it to other people. Even answering my questions, I think it's weird.
Yes. Yes. I wish I could just answer with that. Yes.
Yeah.
Sì. How do you say weird in Italian?
Strano.
Molto strano.
Yeah.
Tutti frutti strano.
Yeah. It's almost like when you do interviews sometimes feels like the interviewer should answer to some questions, like when they ask you for
I'd much rather be doing the interview. You know, this is your first interview of all time.
Yeah.
Did you ever aspire to interview people?
Not really. But I like...
How did this come about?
This opportunity just came, and I really like your work, and I thought, yes, I'll jump into it. I don't know how to do it, but...
Why did it just emerge? Why did it come up?
I'm a musician too, yeah, but I don't know if that's... maybe it depends on which level you're asking me this question. Like, maybe it was meant to be, like I had to go through this thing to learn more about myself, my abilities, and also maybe it would have enriched me with something. But if you're talking about like a practical level, what happened, I just received a text and I answered yes.
And does the good news that you got that gave you that extra oomph this morning relate to your music?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the next clue. Anybody guessed what it is?
Actually...
Is it a show or is it about your album?
No, it's about my album.
How many records have you made?
I've just made one EP with 6 songs.
What's it called?
Running in Circles.
Running?
Running in Circles.
In Circles.
Yeah. And I'm about to make a very big album, which is a very big deal for me because I've had the songs like for 5 years now, and you know when like you want to make an album that represents a certain period of your life. You've gone through certain things, but always evolving, and right now it's the good time to make it, because otherwise if I wait like another couple of years, it'll be over. And even though the songs are very beautiful and so they are worth existing, you know, that's a really interesting thing that I found out ever since I started doing this, which wasn't too long ago, by the way, is how, you know, you made this album, Flying Wig, and for now it's a new thing, but for you it isn't, because you wrote these songs in the past, and you've kind of like reprocessed, that you're digesting. It's like a digestion process somehow, making an album, because you've written these songs in the past, and now you're making the album, and like from the moment you write these songs until the moment they're out and they are now suddenly not yours anymore, it's a long time, you know, in between. I always found very interesting how for the audience everything is so new, and for now is like, for us is like almost already dead. But I also find it very beautiful because things need to die in order to make space for the new. That's what I find so interesting about making art.
Capito. I forgot what the word for strange was.
Strano.
Che strano. Molto strano.
Do you also feel the same?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
And
I'm so excited for your first full album.
You're
going to record the whole album?
Yeah.
When do you start recording?
When?
Yeah.
On January. No,
Wow.
actually, no.
That's right
on
around
January,
the corner.
I'll do the pre-production. I'll start maybe February, March.
And when are you playing next? When's your next show?
Not sure yet. Probably there'll come up something. I don't know. For now, nothing planned. I've just had a tour this summer, and it has been really beautiful, but also very tiring. It was my first tour ever, so I learned so much. I have no like knowledge about music and whatnot. I'm learning as I do, as I make it, and so it's been. like an university, but alive, you know. So, little by little, step by step.
And so the news was, there's a label that's going to put out your music, and recording begins, or the studio's booked, or...
No. Wait, I don't have to say it to you. You have to guess.
It's true, I still have to guess.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like I was... Well, we're there. We pretty much were there.
You're very close.
But we don't know yet.
In Italian, we say fuochino. Like fire, little fire, when you're like close to something. Fuochino. Yeah.
You know, it's funny, my friend grew up with his father is a very well-regarded musician. And when he was like 8 years old, his father would have his friend come over, who was also a very well-respected composer. And he always thought that his father's friend was an Italian guy, because his name was Brianino. And so this guy, Brian Eno, would always hang out at his house. And there's my dad's Italian friend. It's a true story. Yeah, it just made me think of Fochino.
Yes.
Well, I'm really excited to hear it. And I hope that, is Running in Circles out?
It is.
Okay, check out Running in Circles.
Check out Flying Wig.
Why not? How do you say Flying Wig in Italian?
Parrucca volante.
Perrucca volante.
Do you want to tell us the story of Flying? I already know it, but maybe they want to know.
Well, once upon a time, there was a little wig that wanted to fly. And it made a wish, and off it went into the sky. The end. Now, during the pandemic, my closest thing to my sister, Isabel Albuquerque, gave me left a bag on my steps with a birthday present. It was a wig, a big black wig. And I look awful in wigs. If I'd look good in wigs, the album would be called something else, because I would have been wearing the wig. But I look so bad in it, but it seems so, it had so much presence. It was almost living, this thing. And it sat there for a couple of days, and then I just kept staring at it. And one day, I just put some wire, and I hung it to the ceiling. And it just kind of hung there. The wind would blow it, and it would just kind of sway. And that's it. And the next day, I just, notice it. In the morning, I'd say, buongiorno. And then a couple of days would go by, and I would just start to, have this dialogue with this wig that was kind of swaying in my living room. What'd you do last night? Oh, really? No. Did they? No. That's what she said? Fucking bitch. This whole story that while we're asleep in lockdown, everyone's hair and wigs goes off and lives in the city. Goes to the cafe and goes out to the club and goes shopping. And then I realized I need to see people soon. But the idea of using even that as a metaphor, a slang metaphor for a high vibe experience. How was it? How was it going out? Oh, it was so good. I was flying wig. It seemed really fun and funny to me, and something like counterpoint to the maybe more serious themes of the album. Which is, at the same time, it also relates to the record, because I feel like it's a symbol for freedom, this flying wig, fly off. And I think there's definitely a longing for that on the record.
Mm-hmm. Another symbol of freedom that I've experienced while I was listening to your album, and also looking at the visual imaginary of it, I felt somehow how freeing it was to see a male expressing some sort of return to some motherly roots, a delicate and yet very powerful, this image of a feminine side of you coming up. How so?
I feel like that's always been pretty important in my work. It's been a theme of my life that I was kind of born into. I have a feminine name. And the first feminine name, and I grew up in Venezuela, Caracas, Venezuela, and from a very young age, I wanted to sing. I really wanted to sing, but I knew that, but I just didn't sound like those guys singing. You know, I didn't sound like those guys on the radio singing songs. And I just had this instinctive impulse to, while my mom was gone, to put on one of her dresses. And I combed my hair and I would grab the brush and I started singing, and it almost unlocked something in me. I had this very high voice, and in this dress I felt like I could, this is how I can sing. It gave me permission to sing. I found a kind of strength inside of me. It almost unlocked a part of me that society certainly wasn't trying to support. Yeah. But given that I was already othered by having a strange name and not being so attracted to all the boy stuff, I had a glimpse at, I was very clear that something was being suppressed generally in the general culture. And I've been singing from that place ever since. You know, it's not a sexual thing. It has to do with a balance, really, a longing for balance. I'm not even saying I am balanced, but I'm aware that we all possess both of those qualities. It really is, the word male, female, it probably shouldn't even exist. You can choose two different colors if it's easier for you. But those two different colors need to be in balance, in harmony. One gets suppressed, the other thing gets magnified, and that creates problems. I mean, I'm even speaking from almost a psycho-spiritual, physiological perspective. If you look at, you know, Ayurveda is all about balancing your doshas. It's all about balancing them, right? And, you know, I don't know, it feels like such a big part of almost every record and song I've ever written, it's definitely a thing that I don't even want to talk about. It seems so, all my work is trying to kind of support that and celebrate that and encourage that, and encourage that, you know, in a weird, dumb way of putting it, is that men can get in touch with their feminine side and women get in touch with their masculine side. And it feels like that's always been supported and a theme of my work.
Yeah.
It just seems interesting, and also seems like a lived experience. On the first day of school, they go, Johnny, John, Robert, Devendra, and I was about to say, here, they go, oh yeah, me and her, the cool kid, of course, goes, me and her go way back. Oh, everyone laughs. I get so embarrassed. Everything's have a girl's name, you know. But it's that feeling of like, oh wow, this is actually, first off, this doesn't define me, and I see a society that's terrified of feminine men and masculine women. Why are they terrified? So that's always interesting to look at, you know. These extremely homophobic people are typically in the closet, you know.
Yeah, I think it's extremely important, hugely important, to be able to make some space for it to free itself. Especially now, I am so happy to see that the awareness is rising up towards these super important topics, and yet I still see and perceive some resistance towards males to express that feminine part within them.
I think we're threatened by otherness, or we're threatened by things that resonate with us that we've suppressed forever or been told to suppress. Like what your mom says is like, you don't like that person. Well, try to find the part of you that's in that person. And why don't you like that person? Obviously, I see a lot of that with trans issues at the moment, where it's like, it infuriates people. Trans, what is this trans stuff? It's like, what do you know a single trans person? Have they done a single thing to you? Where is this rage and anger coming from? Do you know that I don't have a single trans friend who lives a life of feeling safe?
Yeah,
who is constantly freaked out because somebody's going to attack them? Beyond that, it's also none of our business. It's like, get a life. That's how I feel when people are just like so freaked out about things that don't affect them at all. It's just get a life. It's none of your business. Anyways.
I've been told we have just like, now I think about 3 minutes left. So I have to choose one question among the million of questions that I would have for you.
Okay, can I get in this plexiglass table now and dance?
And stay here for a little while. I think I'm gonna go for, if you have to give a newborn songwriter a message, an advice, or a suggestion, what would it be?
Wow. This is a funny one because I almost am proud that I don't really have opinions, you know? Like I'm like, oh God, thank you so much. I don't have any opinions. This has been really hard for me, so thanks for sticking through it. And you've been amazing. Again,
been
another
amazing
round of
too.
applause. First interview was incredible, incredible.
Thank you.
You know, grazie mille, grazie mille. But my advice to somebody who's just starting out music, or just starting to write songs, is basically be both professional, be a professional, and be an amateur. Be both of those. The root of the word amateur, of course, is lover. So you have to always love the thing you're doing. When you're writing songs as a job and the amateur element is not there, all right, that's dangerous territory, I think. So the root of the word amateur is lover. Stay a lover. And then professional means, as a songwriter in a way, or as an artist, your job is kind of to be yourself. Kind of to be yourself. Something that people don't like. It makes people uncomfortable. It's not so easy, actually. It's like a lifelong challenge. Your job as a professional is to honor and to take responsibility for this gift that you have, which is so subjective. I don't know what it is. You know what it is. And typically, it's a challenge. Typically, someone, yourself, or your friends and family, or your colleagues, the world at large, will challenge you to not do that thing. That's how you can even gauge what that is. So are you willing to walk through that fire to take responsibility for that very intimate gift? I think that's what a professional is, right? That's my advice.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So nice. Grazie mille.
Thank you.